Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. I'm back doing another episode of Where Are They Now? And for those of you who hadn't heard the first episodes of these series, I am going to recap because, as you know, I coach a lot of people. And of course, you've heard me coaching people live on this podcast with my Coaching with Kimmy episodes. I also have a ton of clients who I send off into the world after them doing a coaching program with me or a retreat. And it's always so amazing and rewarding when I hear countless success stories or read thousands of emails of previous clients updating me on how their life has improved and often how they find love. So I do these Where Are They Now episodes to inspire and motivate you by hearing what happens to people after I work with them. And whether that is on a podcast or working with them over time as clients, I hope you listen to these and get inspired by people's successes and know that success can happen to you too. And it all starts with a call. A lot of people are surprised to when they have a call with me and they're like, oh my gosh, Kimmy, it's you. I'm like, I'm real. Yes, it's me. Just sign up. I'd love to chat with you. So today I am bringing on a very special, beautiful woman. And it was like how I said in the beginning, it was shocking when I got this text from her a couple of days ago because, where she was when I first met her to where she is now is just, the transformation is incredible. I met this wonderful woman who came to a conference that I was speaking at, and I was talking on sexy confidence. And when we first met there, she had expressed excitement in attending my dating retreat because we had talked about it. And she wanted to put herself out there, but she found it kind of hard and really hard to get out of her own way. She was dealing with a lot. She had some anxiety about attracting a man due to her feeling scared and some self-worth issues, had a lot of instability with her career, and her emotions were also up and down. And her work schedule caused a lot of exhaustion and also feeling disconnected and the loneliness due to her not having time to do anything socially or even for herself. And she fell in a state of scarcity, not believing that there could be men out there to date or even treat her well. And she had difficulties demanding more for herself and expressing her desires and feelings. And what's more is she definitely had a hard time flirting and seeing herself as that sexy, confident woman this time around. So after struggling to commit, and she and I are going to talk about this, it was difficult in the beginning. She decided to invest in herself and come to my retreat. She found a way. And through learning about herself, putting herself out there, and committing to carving out time to have fun and socialize, she started really seeing the world differently and owning her self worth. And she got a whole new wardrobe and new pictures, which increased her sexy confidence. We built her social life a little bit, worked on getting rid of some of the old wounds that we'll definitely talk about that were causing some big fears, which also was preventing her from finding love. It definitely was a love shield. And the biggest shift was her ability to get out of her head, got out of her own way and decrease her worry and anxiety about the future. And instead of just practice being in the moment and enjoying the connections. And because of that, she grew an abundance mindset and attracted an amazing man who she's extremely happy with. I can't wait to hear about because I actually don't even know the story. I told her, let's just push play so I can hear exactly what happened because I haven't talked to her in a while, but I'll let her tell you the rest. Welcome, Kim. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
wow. Kim, yes, you are here. You're here in a whole new way. Oh my gosh. So, all right, before we get into this new guy and everything, I tried to recap as best as I could, but I would love for you to maybe share what life was like before I met you at that conference and the things that you were struggling with when it came to dating and just even with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you were talking about that, I was just kept coming to me like all the things you said that really that I'm probably going to cry, but it's good tears. But all the things you said that changed me in a profound way. Um, so I had been divorced almost 13 years. And so when my last of four children went to college 3 years ago, I moved out of the only place I had ever lived and came to a place where I knew nobody. And I was just wanted to start over. Um, and so I was excited to do that. But then what ended up happening was I got hooked in with a professional psychopath scammer. So I lost almost all my retirement fund. It was so when I met you, not only, I mean, I had money fears, I had confidence fears. I wasn't even myself anymore because the last 3 years I had just been stripped of pretty much everything. Like, and I was just living in fear. So it was fear about everything. And so I just didn't trust people. I didn't want to be part of the world. I kind of just wanted to hide. And all I was doing was working for two reasons. I thought, well, I have to make up all that money that I lost.
Mhm.
And secondly, the only thing I really find happiness in is coaching my clients. Um, so when I went to the conference and heard your talk, I kind of thought, what would happen if I decided to do that? I hadn't even considered dating. And yeah, so when I went to talk to you about it, I mean, you know what happened. I had anxiety and then I freaked out. Even just thinking about it, it was like really too much for my nervous system to even think about because I would have to trust somebody. And I didn't even trust myself. I mean, after you get scammed, right? Then you know,
Absolutely.
so I'm like, I can't even trust me. How can I trust anybody else? And um, so I think when we first met about doing the wardrobe, I was so low. I was like not only depressed, not only exhausted, but I had gained a lot of weight because I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't working out. I was just existing. So I didn't even want to come on the Zooms. I didn't even want to go to the retreat. But like it ended up being really fun. Like each session ended up being so fun. And then I think the first thing you said to me at the retreat was you gave me the affirmation to say, there's an abundance of money and men in my life. And I couldn't even get those words out. It was hard for me to even get the words out because I did, but I wasn't believing it. But you didn't let me not keep saying it. Like you kept bringing it back. And just all the things you got us to do to change our mindset, have fun. I hadn't had fun in 3 years. I mean, I hadn't laughed, I don't think, before that. Um, and then I think as special as you are, though, like I had that negative interaction with someone else that was part of the
Mhm.
retreat, and you helped me. That really helped me, I think,
Mm.
to that was definitely healing an old wound to be able to speak to it. And you set that up and um you helped me through it to work to be able to speak, like to be able to speak to how hurtful the situation was. And that wasn't easy either, but I needed to do that. I needed to do that. And not a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people would have cared enough to do what you did, to even maybe to hear it, but then maybe drop it, but you didn't drop it. You helped me. You gave me exactly what I needed to heal that wound. And so I just wanted to update you on something else, the money thing. So if you
Mm.
remember when I went, I was very worried about money because
Yes.
it's always been an issue. And then but I didn't, something changed. Even when I got back, crashed and burned with my finances. And then I had to go on a debt relief program. But I wasn't upset about it. Like I kept thinking about everything that you said. And I didn't know how, when, or what the particulars were going to be, but I knew something was going to be different for me. So even though I had to go on a debt relief program, I was like, I'm still hopeful. Like I don't think that this is going to do me in. And it didn't. Um, and then everyone else, as the update from everyone else that started dating right away, they all got on. They all did their profile. They all got on a dating site or met somebody, and everyone was dating somebody except me. And so I was watching everybody's, posts and messages in the WhatsApp, and I didn't get upset about it. Like the old me before that would have been like, oh, I'm the loser. Nobody, see, it would have been like the self-fulfilling prophecy. But I didn't think that. I I didn't think it at all. I was happy for everybody else, which is also a change for me. And I didn't feel sorry for myself. And I still wasn't sure I was ever going to find somebody, but I was okay with it. So I just resigned myself to I might be alone forever, but I'm not settling. And I was still going out. I still got dressed up. I went out, go to the beach. I would go out dancing by myself. Um, and I was very committed to doing all the things that you said. And I signed up for, like, I took improv. I signed up for a couple other things to stretch myself, like you said. And I loved all that, but I wasn't meeting anybody and I didn't care.
Mm.
And I really was starting to think maybe I was meant to walk the earth alone. Like I just wasn't meant. It's just not meant to be in this lifetime. And I again I didn't care. And I had a shift in my business. And I that's always fulfilling for me to work with my clients. So I was just kind of doing my own thing. And on Mother's Day, well,
Wait.
on
Before you
Mother's,
get it, before you, because I think you're about to share the story about the
yeah,
guy. Okay, wait,
yes,
before that, because I want to unpack a lot of the stuff you just shared because it's so, oh my God, the shifts and the things that you overcame, it's incredible. And one of the themes that I'm hearing that really occurred overall is, and you're kind of summarizing this actually, is that when you were in that state before, yes, you were not happy with the people you were meeting or the lack thereof, right? But really what you were unhappy with was yourself. And
right,
to me, what I just heard, even as you're like retelling the story and all the updates, it's when you stopped caring about everybody else and started trusting yourself, liking your life, being resilient with being able to like bounce back, from the point of like the debt relief or whatever it is, or seeing other people date, not you. Really finding truly that happiness from within is when you now everything started shifting, right? And you attracted this wonderful man that we're going to hear about. But that is such right the message. I remember at the retreat, I don't know if it was you or some of the other people were saying at the end, they're like, Kimmy, this really wasn't a dating retreat. I'm like, oh yeah, what was this? They're like, oh, this is about me, you know, and
yeah,
it really is, right? Like, would you date yourself? And if the answer is no, then that's where you start, and you have to be okay being alone until you can really be with someone else. And I truly
absolutely,
believe that.
absolutely. Well, and to your point, what you just said was, I started working with Melanie after you and Melanie both, and so I started doing some other things with my business, and a huge fear of mine has always been social media. I'm not afraid to be on a camera. I just don't like social media, but I threw myself into um, making more videos, and so there was a moment where I started watching. my own videos back, which I would never have done before. And I said, my daughter was here, and I was listening to myself, and I said to Jordan, I go, I freaking love myself. And I like I said, no wonder my clients love me. I'm good. But I was listening to my own words, like for pumping up other people. And like I was like, that was the moment where it shifted when I got outside of myself and I looked at me, not in my own head, but watching, like seeing me as someone else would see me and listening to me as someone else would listen to me. And that was when I was like, I'm pretty awesome. And I don't think I've ever said, and I'm not saying that to be conceited. I never have said that about myself before. So
Huge.
yeah, and my daughter, was like very emotional about that too, because I think she always would worry about me, that I'm always so down on myself, because she sees me differently. Because
Right.
all my kids always say, you're there for everybody else, but you don't do for you what you do for everybody else, which is true. It
Exactly.
was true. I mean,
Yes.
not, I think it's different now, but that is, I wouldn't have gotten there though, honestly, if I didn't do this with you, and I wouldn't have gone through all that. I would still be watching my own videos, and I wouldn't even be watching them. I wouldn't even be able to. I would still be running from myself.
Yeah, it's incredible what you're saying. And, as I always mention, like, you made it happen, right? Like, I was your guide, but it was up to you to really listen and do the work and go through it. Like, the fact that you were committed after the retreat to sign up for classes, to do, like, you could have just given up and gone back to bed, and hid under the covers, but you didn't. And I guess that's what I want to know. I mean, you've been alluding to a lot of things that helped you along the way, but are there, like, certain things that stood out to you that really shifted you, like during the program or the retreat or with me?
You, yeah, I mean, when you had me repeat that affirmation, that I guess I didn't really realize how scared I really was. And like how that's what everybody saw about me when you had us write what our first impression was.
Mm.
And like, no one has ever, like, that's not me. So the me that you saw in that moment, that is what everything that happened to me from the last 3 years, from being, I mean, just shredded by all the things that happened. And I mean, really since my divorce, but it was like, it was extreme in the last 3 years, because I'm here alone. Also, I'm here in this place alone. And, I don't really have any support. So it's just me. And so when you pointed out that's how you're coming across to people. And yeah, that was kind of shocking to me, because no
Mhm.
one ever in my life, and that is not what people say about me. That's not what they say they think about me. Like, ever, up until the last 3 years, most people tell me that they think that, strong, funny, charismatic, happy, like those were always words that people used to describe me, not intense, fearful. What else did they say? Other words that were scared.
Mm.
I mean, none of them were good. None of them were good. And so that was a hard pill to swallow. I was like, I looked at that a lot. I couldn't let that go for a long time. I was mad about it. Then I cried about it. But yeah, but I was like, well, it's true. I mean,
Right. No, it's like facing the mirror, when you're in a state of fear or sadness, and it's a very dark place, right? And when you're hiding, it's so hard to see yourself. It's hard to get outside of yourself. And there's almost this like numbing out that happens. Like you're so used to being in that state that I think it like woke you up, right? Like it was like, wake up,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
there's more to life. And, like just people trying to get you to come out of that. And, sometimes it takes, and I say this too, it takes hitting rock bottom
Yeah.
before you can go back up. And so no, that's a beautiful share. Wow.
And I just kept hitting new bottoms. Like
Yeah.
every time I had thought, I can't go any lower than this, I went lower. But think what would have if I would have never done your course, if I would have never gone to that, I would still be in the same place. I would still be working all the time. I mean, I still do work a lot, but I go out and do things. And and I've like it's not I'm just not the same person. So even when I go out now, I mean, I attract different people to me than I did when I was hiding and at my lowest.
That's so awesome. I remember there's a couple things that stand out to me for you too. Like one is, well, obviously at the conference and just like one day you were so excited and then the next day you had that panic attack, and just I did not think you were going to do it. Like I knew that it was just so much fear and all the stuff that you just talked about. But the fact that you did it, but the thing that stands out is remember you almost like you then came back and you committed to it, but then right before the class was about to start, remember you were going to pull out. We did our virtual makeover session together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't think I can do this. Yeah, I'm, and you were going to bolt.
Yeah.
And like thank God you came that day because I think that was something because I was wondering, and I think you're the perfect person to speak to people listening to this because I know there's so many times where we all feel like we can't get back up, we can't do something. What helped you like push through some of that discomfort, like all those times you hit rock bottom, really?
Um, my kids probably thinking about, is this the mom they want to see, right? Like that's not the mom I want to be. That's not the person I want to be in the world. That's not the coach I want to be. Like the the better I do for me, then the better I can do for my clients. So I guess I wasn't, like you said, looking in the mirror. I thought I was doing better than I was. I didn't really realize how low I was. And then every time I would hit a new low, I'm not really a person that stays down anyway, but I came pretty close to quitting throwing my business away. Um, I'm like, well, maybe I should move back to New York, but that wouldn't have been good because it's just running. I just wanted to run again. And then I thought, no, I know I have better tools than this. I have more tools than this. And I'm telling you, I rarely take this necklace off. Uh, and the little, sparkly red, um,
The pipe cleaner.
pipe cleaner. Yeah. Well, you used it as a wand, but
Yeah.
that I look at it every day. And so when I have a low, I remind myself it doesn't have to be like this. It's like if I shift my thoughts, then I shift my energy, which shifts my vibration. So um I'm always doing work on myself, but I thought, I really just need to commit. I needed to do more things that are going to raise my vibration. So it was really just getting back to things that bring me joy and not not just work, balance, like finding balance. And I think as soon as I did that, I was like, wow, there's a world out here.
Yeah, you're
Like
like, oh my
I
God.
mean,
Yeah.
like even to go, to be out at night,
Yeah.
even if I go out alone, it's fun.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Well, no, keep going, keep going.
I was just going to say, it really doesn't matter to me now that I'm alone because I mean, if I go out alone, it doesn't matter because I find people to talk to. So I have fun on my own anyway. And it's, it was just that I needed to take that step to do something different, like the pattern interrupt and like get out of doing the same old stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. This is so well, and this is what you're kind of leading into where you are now. And so it's so beautiful that you're, okay being with yourself. And not only that, you have fun and you don't have to rely on, you know, those other things. And it sounds like some of the fears of, have gone down. Um, well, let's get into the guy. So so
Get into
then, okay, now you're in this, like, beautiful state. So what happened? I'm dying to know.
it was honestly, it was it was a series of odd, I mean, there are no coincidences.
Right.
Um, but I just oddly, I hadn't really talked to him in 3 years, really. I mean, he had been someone that I had known for probably the last 12 years. Um, but but he was married, so it was not, I mean, we were just friendly. I mean, friends. Like it was in a professional relationship also. And then was just weird. Like every so often something would flash through my mind that would remind me of like a joke. And I right before Mother's Day, it happened multiple times. And I thought, why is this happening? I wonder what this means. But I didn't really think anything about it because as far as I knew, he's still married. Um, so I had gone in the garage so when I had moved here, there was all kinds of chaos happening because of the scamming thing. So I
Right.
moved into my house and I don't know, like on autopilot, somehow I unpacked and and got my house together. There were a lot of bins of things that I still had never gone through. So one day, a couple months ago, oddly, I thought, let me go see what's in these bins in the garage. And I opened the bin, and on the top was a painting that he made for me years ago for one of the offices because we shared this. We were in the same office building. So I took it out and I thought, oh, I wonder what happened to that. That's weird. I put it on my wall in my office, this office here, and I'm a speech therapist also. So I was on the Zoom with the kids, and I kept having this feeling. It's here on the wall, and I kept having this feeling that I needed to look over. And the kids were on the Zoom. So, but I kept like, it was like something was tapping me on the shoulder. So I looked over and I swear, it was like the sunflower was like coming alive, like pulsating off of the wall. I mean, and I'm like, what the hell? Like I'm having a visual hallucination in the middle of the day. So it was like trying to get my attention. I'm not joking. That happened. And but I couldn't really think about it because I was in the middle of teaching.
Mhm.
So I just thought, what wonder what that meant. I didn't think anything of it. I went to see my son on Mother's Day, but Chad was he was working. So I went to dinner by myself and I looked out the window and I was sitting up high in this restaurant. I looked down at the sidewalk and I saw something that again reminded me of a joke that we had. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to him. And we were friends, but it's not like we were great friends, but every once in a while I would text him something funny over the years. I mean, like I said, I had known him like 12 years. So I sent him that. I said, remember when this happened? And I sent him that text and he said, oh, he sent me back, oh my God, I can't believe you just sent me that. I was literally just thinking about you. And I was thinking, why would you be thinking about me? And then he said, did you know that he told me he was divorced? And I was completely shocked, floored. I never saw that coming. And I said, no, how would I know? And he had thought that his wife would have told me, ex-wife. But I said, well, how long have you been divorced? And he said 3 years. It was like the exact same time that I had been gone. Um, and I said, so he called me, and then we were just talking about it, and it was just he was just catching me up. And so he said, he made some reference about, if if you ever want to travel, or what if I maybe could come to Charleston or whatever. It was like in passing, so I dismissed it. And then I was going to my old hometown to see the kids. And so I thought, I'm just going to see if he wants to get a coffee. And I almost was going to cancel. I was going to cancel it. And I'll tell you, my old shit got in my head. And my daughter said, first of all, I think you need to just breathe, like, because you're freaking yourself out.
Right.
And I said, I can't go. I'm gonna cancel, because if I don't, this is two things are gonna happen. He's gonna blow me off, or he's gonna show up and tell me he's dating somebody, because that's the two things that happen to me all the time. And after a while, you don't want to, who wants to keep reliving that? So I got in my old pattern. And so I said, I can't go because I know those two things are going to happen.
Mm.
And my daughter said, you're going to tell yourself another story, and you're going to go. So I was, so I was waiting. I went to the coffee place, and he sent me a text, and I read it wrong. I read it from my old brain, because he had said he had to take his friend to the emergency room. So I was like, see, nice excuse. He's not going to show up. But that's not what he said. He said, so I'm late. I'm running late. I'll be there in 12 minutes. So he did show up, but I was completely convinced he wasn't going to. So I was going to leave again. And because I was like, I'm not doing this. And then he, we were talking, and then he was telling me about a person he had taken to dinner, but it wasn't a date. So I thought it was a date. So I was like, here it is. Here it comes. Now he's going to tell me he's with somebody, but that's not what it was. So good thing I hung in. Good thing I hung in there and didn't leave.
Yes. Oh
Um,
my gosh.
yeah. So yeah. So there you have it. So then I was gone, and we hung out for mostly the whole time that I was there. And like, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to, I'm not going to say anything past that, because I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm telling you, I forgot that I know how to laugh. Like, that is, um, see, to me, that's how far I got away from myself, because the old me, if you would ask anybody from my other life, what's the first thing you would say about Kim? It's my laugh, and that I'm funny, and that I'm happy. And then to get all those things that people wrote, that's how far away I was from myself. And then I didn't even realize how much I don't laugh anymore. So I just got back on Sunday, and it's like, wow, I actually remember how to laugh. And so yeah, that was nice to realize that I still am fun, and I am funny, and I can laugh, and I am happy. Yeah,
She was always in there. She was just kind of dormant for a while and hiding because she was scared. And uh, oh my God, what a beautiful story with this guy. And like, even no matter what happens with this guy, and I wish you the best, that's not why we're even talking, to be honest. Like,
right.
yeah, right. Like, you found yourself again.
Exactly.
Because of that, great, you attracted this wonderful like situation and man right now, but like, I think even if it doesn't work out, you're still going to be okay. Like, you still have
Absolutely.
yourself no matter what.
That's exactly it. So that the thing is, like I said, I don't want to jinx it, but I
Yeah.
don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That is it. It doesn't matter. I don't I don't think there's ever been another time in my life when I would have been able to say that what the other person thinks or doesn't think of me doesn't matter. Like, it again, it would, those old stories of what's happened before with every other relationship just, takes another giant chunk out of your self-esteem every time that happens. So you can come back to the next relationship and think, I don't care, I'm good. But your energy is different. It's like
Mhm.
you can say it, you can say you don't care, but you're a wall and
Yes.
people know it. So you're really like you're shutting down your own opportunities because your energy is what it is. Low, blocked, negative, despite like your words. And I think it was you that said to me, yeah, it was you. That was one of the things that you told me to do. Like one of your advice when you were telling us things that we could do going forward. And
Mhm.
you said to me, which I didn't really get it until right now, that the outside and the inside of me were in a disconnect and didn't match. I didn't even really fully get it until I just said it. Yeah.
Congrats and welcome home.
Yeah.
Right? Like it the synthesizing of the outer and the inner and your confidence and who you are. And I love what you said too about the not caring, because it's not caring for the wrong reason. Because right, like people could just say, "Oh, I don't care," but that's a defense.
Right.
You're not caring is because no matter what happens, you'll always have you, and you're
Yes.
not dependent on what other people think. Totally two different kinds of caring. And
Hmm.
so, oh my gosh, Kim, like I wish I could reach through the Zoom right now and give you the biggest hug ever and just know I am hugging you right now. And I knew you could get here and I'm so happy for you. And life is a journey, it'll continue to be. But I can't wait to hear what happens with this guy because you're so different. I think just this whole interaction is going to be different too.
Absolutely. And one of the whole thing was weird. I shouldn't have even been in New York last week for so many reasons. It wasn't even going to happen, but like weird twists kept happening that I didn't do anything. It was just like the universe, every single thing went put everything aligned. And even to the point where I was going to leave on Wednesday.
Mhm.
I wasn't supposed to stay until Sunday. I was going to leave on Wednesday and I ended up I ended up staying till Sunday, but there was also a tea, like I went to a spiritual like tea ceremony and I wasn't even supposed to be at that. But the thing was I wasn't really I was having my own experience at that. I wasn't really part of the group. I took that opportunity to I yeah, this is going to sound weird, but I knew my 7-year-old me needed
Mhm.
me. So I really did, I kind of transcended the group and I just did my own thing, which was for me. And that was it was so cathartic and healing. And I wasn't even supposed to be there again, but I needed it.
Yes.
So good thing that I did.
Yeah, and I think you just reminded me of another like snippet and story that you shared with me along the yellow brick road that you've been down. Um, you've been saying that a lot, like where you're like, well, it's almost like when the universe gives you a signal or sign, and right, like this happens to everybody every day. Like there might be something
Yeah.
in front of you that you just
Yes.
don't see. But until you are training yourself to see it, then you won't see it. And
Hmm.
so a lot of it is your own perception, but you have to be in that state to want it as well.
Right. Right.
And remember after I don't think maybe it was right after the retreat where you were in the airport and you sat down and you
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it was the same thing. You're like, Kim, this never happens to me. And like suddenly, like, you can chalk it up to the woo woo or whatnot. And, there's no right or wrong. But what I do believe is that there are people and signs everywhere. You just gotta like take notice and see it and believe it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It was funny because, yes, when you had us doing those activities to notice who's noticing you, and,
Yeah.
I was meeting a lot of guys. Actually, I met 3 guys in 3 different airports. And so I was actually for a while talking to 3 of those different guys and one at a time. I mean, I've been talking to them for months. And then what do they tell me? They found somebody else. But you know what? I didn't care. That was the funny thing. I was like, next, whatever. But it was funny this time. Like not I mean it like it just didn't affect me. It was like water
Right.
off a duck's back. And I knew, well, you weren't the right person. Instead of before, I would have made it like it's about me. Like, see, I am the un-Midas. But I didn't make it about me. It was like, no, you're not the right person for me. And so it's fine. I hope you're happy. And I mean it. I
Yes.
hope they're happy with who they found.
Oh,
So that's never happened to me before. Like just even the fact that I could look at it like that and not say, I'm the loser. Nobody wants me, which was my old story.
that was your old story. And you totally flipped the script on that story, like big time. I could just even see it in this call. And it's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while. And oh my God, it's beautiful. What would you say to someone listening to this? Because I know there are so many people listening to this and be like, oh my gosh, she is just like me. Um, and maybe they're scared. Maybe they're in the state that you were in before to like get help or to sign up for a retreat or to get,
Yeah.
I mean, for wherever, like, what would you say to them to help them
Yeah.
get over that hump?
That absolutely 150%. You have to do a pattern interrupt. You can't do the same thing the same way every day. You're just going to keep getting the same. And definitely, whether I didn't have the money, I didn't have the desire, I didn't have the clothes, I didn't have anything, but I made myself do it. Like, even if you don't want to, do it anyway. Like, because like you said, I was going to bolt multiple times. I was also going to bolt on Florida.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and, so, but thank God I didn't. I mean, that was meeting you was the pivotal moment that shook up my world, that got me to see I can't keep doing this or I'm going to be 80 and look back and say I wasted all that time. I never even got my head out of my ass to see what else I could do. So yeah, do it. I mean, if you and no excuses. Like I would say, like, just no excuses. No excuse is worth it, or um there is no excuse that is worth keeping you from you.
So good. Kim, I love you. I adore you. Thank
I,
you. Thank you so
love you
much for
too.
like, I know, for coming on and sharing this because I know you've helped a lot of people today, even if it was just listening to this, knowing that, you're not alone, and that's what this is all about. And so thank you. I can't wait to keep in touch with you and hear more.
And even if you think you are alone, and even if you think you're at your lowest point, it can always turn around.
Yes.
That's like, but you have to change. Like what changes outside changes inside first. It has to change inside first, or your world is never going to change if something doesn't change inside.
Yeah. And it's all symbiotic, right? It all works together. So thank you. Thank you, Kim. Okay. And thanks for joining me today. You listening. This has been the Charisma Quotient. I am your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And if you want help overcoming challenges of dating fears that you might be having that are blocking opportunity and seeing your self worth to attract healthy relationships, I have a lot of ways I can help you, of course, overcome that. Or maybe it's dating anxiety or whatever that is. But one thing that I wanted to announce that is just ironic that Kim got in touch with me now is I am actually doing another retreat, ironically, and it's coming up. And this one is called Dating IRL, Dating in Real Life, because you all want to know how to do that. Everyone's sick of online dating. So we are going to do a lot of fun things, especially if you are finding that you don't know where to go, how to be, or what to do. So, this is another epic and transformative experience to learn how to flirt, navigate the modern dating scene, and get out of your head and into life. Um, if you are interested, just contact me. Go to askkimmy.com. That's askkimmy.com and let me know you're interested. We'll hop on a call and we'll figure it out. But hurry because I'm already half full already and I'm only taking up to 20 women. So, if you want to come, just inquire within. And I would love to see you live there. And remember, your life could change just like Kim's. Remember, working on you is working on your dating life. That's all for now.